Hello, everybody. Let's try this again, shall we? So, I figured I shouldn't make you wait too long between the end of the book, considering there was only one chapter left, which I apologize, I didn't realize at the time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have, I would have just finished it. But that's fine. I found the follow-up book, so we can go ahead and resume from there. Of course, I may stop to AFK a few times. Unfortunately, being home means I have to keep an eye on the dog, who is blind and needs assistance with literally everything. And I swear, as soon as she hears my voice, it's like she knows I'm streaming, and she literally just got up on the bed and is just like, okay, I'm gonna be a pest now. But we still love her. We still love her. So I'm gonna have to deal with that. But I will still do my best to keep the flow going. So we're finishing You by Caroline Kepnes. And then we are starting the second book, which is actually called Hidden Bodies. Okay, so I guess spoiler alert, just in case you haven't heard/read the previous stream, Joe did the thing. He done ended Beck. He unalived her. And then he felt so terrible about it. As psychopaths do. Oh no, I killed her. How could I? Anywho, if you watch the show on Netflix that this series is based on, you already know where this is going. But I think it's interesting to compare the two because the Joe in the books is so much worse than the Joe in the show. I think in the show, they still tried to kind of make him endearing, and I don't know if that was the right way to go because the point was to show that he is indeed a monster. But here we are. So, You by Caroline Kepnes, last chapter, number 53. The mail I typically receive is boring and financial. Bills, coupons, crap. But today, after 3 months after you passing, I received the first wedding invitation of my life via the United States Postal Service. The envelope is so big the postman had to walk it upstairs and lean it against my door. I know I'm not an expert, but it's a beauty, Beck, and I have it with me here at the shop. I'm enamored with the triumphant romance of the thick embossed cardstock juxtaposed with the delicate gold italicized cursive. Who knew Ethan and Blythe were royalty? A lot happens in 3 months. Exclamation point Ethan and Blythe have gotten engaged and invited me to their wedding in Austin, Texas. A lot doesn't happen in 3 months. The help wanted sign is still in the window. Ethan got a corporate job. Marriage is expensive. But this invitation has altered my perspective. I haven't felt this hopeful since exiting Dr. Znicki's office, since entering You. The future exists again because of this invitation. This invitation necessitates that I mark dates on my calendar, and it feels good to flip ahead through the calendar in my phone. Before this invitation arrived, addressed to Mr. Joe Goldberg and guest, I was only flipping through months gone by, inventing anniversaries for a life that's gone. You, above all others, know the importance of moving on. You like new things. You liked new things. Life is not a Dan Brown book. You are dead, and you are not coming back. But life is better than a Dan Brown book because at long last, I have something to look forward to. A wedding. I have to decide between steak and fish, and I'm genuinely torn about the decision, and I have to make this decision within the next 41 days according to the rules on the reply card. The bell chimes on the slow day that's neither summer nor fall. An unremarkable man in shorts asks about Dr. Sleep. I point him to fiction, G through K, and I think of the time I saw you in fiction, F through K, and what a fool I was in the days after. I have rearranged the shop. I couldn't look at F through K anymore. I genuinely believe that reshaping the shelves would make it easier to live in the world without you. The world I built with my own 2 hands. The world that won't allow me to tell you that I know you stole your Ritz robes from Peach. I still get flashbacks. I still cringe. I'm eating again, but only because I hate fainting. Everything has been an exercise until now. I will always feel indebted to the United States Postal Service, to Ethan, to Blythe, and I will never again underestimate the power of anticipation. There is no better boost on the present than an invitation to the future. The loner buys the king and leaves with the king, and I am going to need to buy a suit. It's wonderful to have a project, and I celebrate by visiting Chet and Rose's online love nest. I feel like I've gotten to know them so well since that dreadful night in the woods. I want to tell them about the invitation. I've become obsessed with Chet and Rose, but how could I not? They gathered in the woods to be married so that I could still believe in love. I love them. I've watched their honeymoon slideshow hundreds of times. They were there for me. What timing. I used to play the slideshow and pretend that we're the ones on a honeymoon in Cabo San Lucas. But these days, I'm less bitter. I know that we all don't get to be Chet and Rose. It is an indisputable fact. Some people on this earth receive love, get married, and honeymoon in Cabo. Others do not. Some people read alone on the sofa, and some people read together in bed. That's life. I will probably die alone. Karen Minty will probably die married. Lots of people love the King of Queens. And I'm fine with my fate. It was my decision to spare you the pain of life. I let go of you. I forgive you. It's not your fault that you carried your demons awkwardly in that big Prada bag, in those giant used robes from Peach's Ritz. You were toxic, not vicious. And the men who did leave you are thriving. That Hesher guy has a television show that doesn't suck. An online registry at Babies R Us shows that your father is about to become a father again. Some people get it all. They do. I think you would be happy to know that your voice carries. I'm the sole reader of the Book of Beck. I had your short stories bound at FedEx. But millions of people have devoured the story of your life. Everyone knows about the twisted psychologist who murdered you. You never were published in the New Yorker, but you did make the New York Post. You changed me, Beck. I will not grow lonely like Mr. Mooney. I have Ethan and Blythe. I have the girls. They periodically foist upon me. The girls are always terrible, wan and patronizing, or shallow and simple. I'm like Hugh Grant in Love Actually, minus the love, which isn't so bad when you realize that in real life, Hugh Grant is single, like me. Once again, not all animals are destined to pair off. Yes, I understand that we are built for companionship. God gave us vocabularies. We need to speak. We need to listen. I fuck occasionally, girls from the internet, girls from the shop, but mostly I keep to myself. No longer do I open petal by petal, and you were right, Beck. You were not the girl I thought you were, and Barbara Hershey wasn't the one for Elliot and Hannah and her sisters. The doorbell chimes, and I look up from a photo of Chet and Rose on paddleboards and see a girl I know, sort of. She wears a University of Pittsburgh tank top and jeans. She squirms, she waves. I wish there was music playing right now. She liked my music last time. I saw the sign in the window. She swallows. Are you still hiring? Sometimes they forget to take down the sign. Sometimes it's bullshit. I'm sorry, I'm swearing. I forgot about the sign, but I did not forget about Amy Adam and her stolen credit card and her fraudulent academic attire and her large chestnut eyes. We are still hiring. She comes over. She glances at my wedding invitation and nods. I love Austin. So how have you been? I ask, and it's a silken maneuver on my part. I am the gentleman, assuming the role of the one who remembers so that she may be the lady, remembered. She fawns, almost curtsies. She's flattered and happy. She's staring at me, and it feels good in her eyes, and she hands me a resume. I used to work at a little bookstore in Williamsburg, but let's just say that it didn't work out because of their short-sighted policies about what they call stealing, she grunts. Like I shouldn't bring books home and read them. And exactly how do you even read a book without marking it up? She is loud. Excuse me if I'm not one of those ultra-modern Kindle people, but I like pens, paper, real pages I can rip and touch. She shakes her head. And if you bought a book and found notes in the margins, I mean, who wouldn't love that? It's a bonus. She doesn't want me to answer. She blinks. I'm sorry, I'm going off, but it has to be said. She needs my acceptance. I smile. No apology necessary. Now it's her turn and she complies, playful. I probably sound like a lunatic. Do you guys hire lunatics? I tell her that we only hire lunatics and she thinks I'm funny. She has a lilting laugh and she likes it here with me. She will be my cashier and my girlfriend, and the next time I'm invited to a wedding, it will be addressed to Joe Goldberg and Amy Adam, and I will have to worry about finding a guest. You are gone forever, and she is here now. So terrifying. That is it. That is the end of You by Caroline Kepnes. I feel like it is almost horrifying in how anticlimactic it is, how casually he just moves on from taking life. But that is why he is so scary, because people like him very much exist, and unfortunately there's really no way to know. And that's something that women really genuinely have to fear in their lives, unfortunately. I'm going to check on the dog real quick, and then we shall resume with Hidden Bodies, which is the second in the series. Okay, so can't wait to see where this is going. Although I have to say, it does actually read a bit different than the show. So, Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes, Chapter 1. I buy violets for Amy, not roses. Roses are for people who did something wrong. I have done everything right this time around. I'm a good boyfriend. I chose well. Amy Adam lives in the moment, not in the computer. Violets are the state flower of Rhode Island, I tell the guy wrapping up my flowers. His careless, dirty hands graze the petals, my petals. New fucking York. Is that so? He chuckles. You learn something new every day. I pay cash and carry my violets outside to East 7th Street. It's hot for May, and I smell the flowers. Rhode Island. I've been to Rhode Island. I went to Little Compton last winter. I was lovesick, petrified that my girlfriend, R.I.P. Guinevere Beck, was in jeopardy because of her emotionally unstable friend, R.I.P. Peach Salinger. Someone honks at me and I apologize. I know when something is my fault. And when you walk into a blinking crosswalk, it is your fault. Just like it was my fault last winter. I go over the mistake in my head a dozen times a day. How I was hiding in a closet upstairs at the Salinger house. How I had to pee but couldn't leave. So I pissed in a mug, a ceramic mug, and I put the mug down on the hardwood floor of the closet. I ran when I had the chance, and there's no way around it. I forgot the mug. I'm a changed man because of that day. You can't go back and alter the past, but you can go forward, become a person who remembers. Now, I'm committed to the details. For example, I recall with total precision the moment that Amy Kendall Adam returned to Mooneyvere and used to my life. I see her smile, her untamed hair, blonde, and her resume, lies. That was 5 months ago, and she claimed she was looking for a job, but you and I both know she was looking for me. I hired her, and she showed up on time for her first day with a spiral notebook and a list of rare books that she wanted to see. She had a glass container of superfruits, and she told me they help you live forever. I told her that nobody gets to live forever, and she laughed. She had a nice laugh. Easy. She also had latex gloves. I picked one up. What are these? So I don't hurt the books, she explained. I want you up front, I countered. This is just a basic job, mostly stocking shelves, manning the register. Okay, she said. But did you know that there are copies of Alice in Wonderland that are worth over $1 million? I laughed. I hate to break your heart, but we don't have Alice downstairs. Downstairs? She asked. Is that where you keep the special books? I wanted to place my hand on the small of her back and lead her down to the cage where the special books are preserved, boxed, saved. I wanted to strip her down and lock us inside and have her, but I was patient. I gave her a W-9 and a pen. You know, I could help you go yard sailing for old books, she said. You never know what you're going to find at yard sales. I smiled. Only if you promise not to call it yard sailing. Amy smiled. The way she saw it, if she was going to work there, she was going to make a dent. She wanted us to travel uptown to estate sales and hunt library clearances and jam our hands into empty boxes on the street. She wanted to work together, and this is how you get to know someone so well, so fast. You descended to musty, vacated rooms together, and you rush outside together to gulp the fresh air and laugh and agree that the only thing to do now is get a drink. We became a team. An old woman pushing a walker looks up at me. I smile. She points at the violets. You're a good boy. I am. I thank her and keep walking. Amy and I started dating a few months ago while we were on the Upper East Side in a dead man's parlor. She tugged on the lapel of the navy blazer she bought for me, $5 at a tag sale. She pleaded with me to drop $700 on a signed wrinkled edition of the Easter Parade. Amy, I whispered, Yates isn't big right now and I don't see a resurgence on the horizon. But I love him, she begged. This book means everything to me. This is women. They are emotional. You can't do business like this, but you also can't look at Amy with her big blue eyes and her long blonde hair out of a Guns N' Roses song and say no to her. What can I do to change your mind? She wheedled. An hour later, I was the owner of an overpriced Easter parade, and Amy was sucking my dick in a Starbucks bathroom in Midtown. And this was more romantic than it sounds because we liked each other. This was not a blowjob. This was fellatio, my friends. She stood, and I pulled her boyfriend's jeans to the floor, and I stopped short. I knew she didn't like to shave. Her legs were often bristly, and she's all about water conservation. But I did not expect a bush. She kissed me. Welcome to the jungle. This is why I smile as I walk, and this is how you get happy. Amy and I, we are sexier than Bob Dylan and Suze Rodolo on the cover of the Free Willin', and we are smarter than Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz in Vanilla Sky. We have a project. We are amassing copies of Portnoy's Complaint. It's one of our favorite books, and we reread it together. She underlined her favorite parts with a Sharpie, and I told her to use a more delicate pen. I'm not delicate, she said. I hate delicate. Amy is a Sharpie. She's passionate. She fucking loves Portnoy's Complaint, and I want to possess all the dark yellow copies ever made and keep them in the basement so that only Amy and I can touch them. I'm not supposed to overstock a title, but I like fucking Amy near our yellow wall of books. Philip Roth would approve. She laughed when I told her that, and she said she would write him a letter. She has an imagination, a heart. My phone rings. It's Gleason Brothers Electricians about the humidifier, but it can wait. I have an email from BuzzFeed about some list of cool indie bookstores, and that can wait too. Everything can wait when you have love in your life. When you can just walk down the street and picture the girl you love naked on a mound of yellow complaints. I reach Mooney Books and the bell chimes as I open the door. Amy crosses her arms and glares at me, and maybe she's allergic to flowers. Maybe violets suck. What's wrong? I ask, and I hope this isn't it, the beginning of the end, when the girl becomes a cunt, when her new car smell evaporates. Flowers? She asks. You know what I want more than flowers? I shake my head. Keys, she says. A guy was just here, and I could have sold him the Yates, but I couldn't show it because I don't have keys. I toss the flowers on the counter. Slow down. Did you get a number? Joe, she says, tapping her foot. I love this business, and I know I'm being a dumb girl, and I shouldn't tell you how it is. How into this I am. But please, I want keys. I don't say anything. I need to memorize it all, lock it away for safekeeping, the low hum of the music, the Rolling Stones' Sweet Virginia, one of my favorites, and the way the light is right now. I don't lock the door. I don't flip the open sign over. I walk to the other side of the counter and I take her in my arms and I dip her and I kiss her and she kisses me back. I've never given anyone a key. But this is what you're supposed to do. Your life is supposed to expand. Your bed is supposed to have enough room for someone else, and when that someone comes along, it's your job to let her in. I seize my future. I pay extra to get ridiculous theme keys, pink and flowery. And when I place these pink metallic things in the palm of Amy's hand, she kisses them. I know this is huge, she says. Thank you, Joe. I will guard these with my life. That night she comes over and we watch one of her stupid movies, Cocktail, nobody's perfect. And we have sex and order a pizza and my air conditioning breaks. Should we call someone? She asks. Fuck it, I say. It's Memorial Day coming up. I smile and pin her down and her unshaven legs scratch against mine and I'm used to it now. I like it. She licks her lips. What are you up to, Joe? You go home and pack a bag, I say, and I'm gonna rent us a little red Corvette and we're gonna get out of here. You're insane, she says. Where are we going in this little red Corvette? I bite her neck. You'll see. You're kidnapping me? She asks. And if this is what she wants, then yes. You have 2 hours. Go pack. Chapter 2. She shaved. I knew she had it in her. And I did my part. I really did rent a red convertible. We are those assholes. And we're cruising through the woodsy part of Rhode Island. We are your worst nightmare. We are happy. We don't need you, any of you. We don't give a fuck about you, what you think of us, what you did to us. I am the driver and Amy is the dream girl, and this is our first vacation together. Finally, I have love. The top is down and we sing along to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I picked this song because I'm taking it all back, all the beautiful things in the world that were corrupted by my tragically ill girlfriend, Guinevere Beck. I see now that she suffered from borderline personality disorder. You can't fix that. Beck and her horrible friends ruined so much for me. I couldn't go anywhere in New York without thinking of Beck. I thought I'd never listen to Elton John again because his music was playing when I killed Peach. Amy taps my shoulder and points at a hawk in the sky. I smile. She isn't the kind of asshole who needs to lower the volume on the music, and discuss the bird and read into it. God, she's good. But no matter how good it gets, it is always there, the truth. I forgot to take the mug. That fucking mug haunts me. I understand that there are consequences. I'm not unique. To be alive is to have a mug of urine out there. But I can't forgive myself for screwing up like some girl forgetting a cardigan after a one-night stand. The mug is an aberration, a flaw, proof that I'm not perfect, even though I'm usually so precise, so thorough. I haven't hatched a plan to retrieve it, but Amy makes me wish I had. I want the world clean for us, Lysol fresh. Now she offers me her scratch sunglasses. You're driving, she says. You need them more than I do. She's the anti-Beck. She cares about me. Thanks, Aim. She kisses my cheek and life is a fever dream, and I wonder if I'm in a coma, if all this is a hallucination. Love fucks with your vision, and I have no hate in my heart. Amy's taking all of it away, my healer, my back teen beauty. In the past, I had a tendency to be intense. You might even call it obsessive. Beck was such a mess that in order to take care of her, I had to follow her home and hack into her email and worry about her Facebook and her Twitter and her nonstop texting, all the contradictions, the lies. I chose poorly with her and suffered the consequences. I learned my lesson. It works with Amy because I can't stalk her online. Get this, she's off the grid. No Facebook, no Twitter, no Instagram, not even an email address. She uses burner phones, and I have to program her new number into my phone every couple of weeks. She's the ultimate analog, my perfect match. When she first told me, I was flabbergasted and a little judgmental. Who the fuck is offline? Was she a pretentious nutcase? Was she lying? What about paychecks? I asked. You have to have a bank account. I have this friend in Queens, she answered. I write my checks over to her and she gives me cash. A lot of us use her. She's the best. Us? People offline, she said. I'm not alone here. Cunts want to be snowflakes. They want you to tell them how nobody in this whole world compares to them. Apologies to Prince. All the little fame monsters on Instagram. Look at me. I put jam on my toast, and I found someone different. Amy doesn't try to stand out. I don't sit alone and scroll through her status updates and hone in on her misleading photographs of staged joy. When I'm with her, I'm with her. And when she leaves me, she goes where she said she was going. Of course, I followed her and I occasionally look at her phone. I have to know that she isn't lying. I think I smell salt air, Amy says. Not yet, I tell her. Couple more minutes. She nods. She doesn't fight about stupid shit. She's no angry Beck. That sick girl lied to the people with whom she was closest. Me, Peach, her fucking fellow writers in school. She told me her father was dead. He wasn't. She told me she hated Magnolia just because her friend Peach hated it. She was lying. I read her email. Amy is a nice girl, and nice girls lie to strangers to be polite, not to people they love. Even right now, she's wearing a threadbare URI tank top. She didn't go to URI, she didn't go anywhere, but she always wears a college shirt. She got a brown shirt for me, just for this trip. We can tell people that I'm a student and you're my professor, she giggled. My married professor. She digs up these shirts at various Goodwills all over the city. Her chest is always screaming, "Go Tigers! Arizona State! Pitt!" I tend to the stacks and eavesdrop as people who come into the shop try to connect with her. Did you go to Princeton? Did you go to UMass? Did you go to NYU? And she always answers yes. She makes nice with the women, and she lets the dudes think they have a shot. They don't. She likes the conversation. She likes the story. My little anthropologist, my listener. We're nearing the road that takes us to Little Compton, and just when I think life can't get any better, I see flashing lights. A cop is coming at us hard. His lights are on and his sirens are blaring and the music is gone. I brake and I try to keep my legs from shaking. What the fuck? Amy says. You weren't even speeding. I don't think so, I say, keeping my eyes on the rearview mirror as the cop opens his door. Amy turns to me. What did you do? What did I do? I murdered my ex-girlfriend, Gwen Rebek. I buried her body in upstate New York and then pinned it on her therapist, Dr. Nikki Angevine. Before that, I strangled her friend, Peach Salinger. I killed her less than 5 fucking miles from here on a beach by her family's house and made it look like a suicide. I also did away with a drug-addled soda jerk named Benji Keys. His cremated body is in a storage unit, but his family thinks he died on a bender. Oh, also, the first girl I ever loved, Candace. I put her out to sea. Nobody knows I did any of these things, so it's like that if a tree falls in the woods question. I have no idea, I say, and this is a fucking nightmare. Amy rummages around the glove box for the rental's registration, takes it out, and then slams it shut. Officer Thomas Jenks doesn't take off his sunglasses. He has round shoulders and his uniform is slightly too large. License and registration, he says. His eyes burrow into my chest, the word brown. You heading back to school? Just going to Little Compton, I say, and then I cover. Eventually, taking my time. He doesn't acknowledge my passive-aggressive defense. I was not fucking speeding, and I'm not a brown asshole, and this is why I don't wear college shirts. He studies my New York driver's license. A century passes, and then another. Amy coughs. Officer, what did we do wrong? Officer Jenks looks at her, then at me. You didn't signal when you turned. Are you kidding me, motherfucker? Ah, I say. I'm sorry. Jenks said he needs a few minutes, and he plods back to his car, breaking into a jog, and he shouldn't be jogging. He also shouldn't need a few minutes. As he opens the door to his cruiser and slips inside, I think of my prior offenses, my secret activities, and my throat closes up. Joe, relax, Amy says, putting her hand on my leg. It's just a minor traffic violation. But Amy doesn't know that I killed 4 people. I am sweating, and I've heard about things like this. A guy gets pulled over for a minor infraction, and somehow, through the sadistic magic of computers and system, the guy is pinned for all kinds of other shit. I could shoot myself. Amy turns the radio back on. 5 songs play, and 20 minutes tick by, and Officer Thomas Jenks is still in his automobile, holding my personal information. If he's issuing me a simple ticket for failing to signal, if that's all there is to this, then why is he on the phone? Why does he keep pushing buttons on the computer? Does my freedom end at the beginning of the season when my iPhone shows sun and the sky above is swollen with rain? Because I do know a cop in the state. His name is Officer Nico, and he thinks my name is Spencer. What if he saw my picture on the computer? What if he recognized me and called Jinx and said, I know that guy? And what if... Joe, Amy says, and I almost forgot she was here. You look like you're having a panic attack. It's not bad. It's not even a speeding ticket. I know, I say. I just hate cops. She strokes my leg. I know. She reaches into the cooler and takes out a peach. A peach. Of course it kills me that we're moving backward. She's eating a peach, and I'm obsessing about Peach Salinger and my mug of piss. That mug. I try to believe that it's gone. I picture a maid swiping it, disgusted, scouring clean, dousing it with bleach. I picture a golden retriever, people with summer homes, they love their great big dogs, and he's sniffing around, pawing at the mug, and he knocks it over, and his master calls, and he runs, and my urine seeps into the floorboards, and I am safe. I picture a Salinger child playing hide and seek. The mug gets knocked over, I'm safe. I see a Salinger cousin, cunty, texting, absent-mindedly throwing shoes into the closet, losing her shit when a full mug soaks her precious Manolos, her Tory Burch sandals. She trashes the shoes. I am safe. I hear the door slam. Jinx is on foot. He might ask me to step out of the car. He might lie to me. He might try to trick me. He might ask Amy to step out of the car. He wears cologne, poor guy, and he hands me my license and the rental registration. Sorry about the holdup, he says. You know, they give us these computers and half the time they're jammed up. Technology, I sigh. Free. Free! It's the end of us all, right? All the more reason I'd like you to use that blinker, he quips. I smile. I'm truly sorry, officer. Jenks asks us if we live right in the city, and I tell him it's quieter in Brooklyn and everything is going to be okay. I am blessed. I smell Jenks' hopeful body spray. I see a small life. It's all in his eyes, unlived. Dreams he didn't chase. Dreams he won't chase. Not because he's a pussy, because he simply doesn't see his dreams in detail, the kind of details that drive a person to pack their shit, to move. He became a cop because of the simplicity of the uniform. You don't have to think about what to wear every day. You have fun, he says. Be safe. I pull back onto the road and I'm relieved that my day, my life, doesn't end here. I have one hand on the wheel and I maneuver the other under Amy's cutoffs. I see her turn up ahead, the one that leads to Little Compton. I don't want the police anywhere in my future, and I accept that I fucked up, that I left one loose end, and I will never, ever do that again. This time when I turn, I use my fucking blinker. Give me a moment to check my dog, sorry. Okay, chapter 3. We stop at Dell's Lemonade and sit at a picnic table, toasting with lemon slushy cups. Amy shrugs. It's fine, she says, but honestly, this isn't that good, you know? I love her contrarian way. People think everything is better when they're on vacation. Yelp Nation, she says. Miserable people want to call it a one-star slushy, and insecure people want everyone to be jealous of them and be all, best slushy ever. Sometimes I wish she could have met Beck. Wow, I say. You just described my ex to a T. She smacks her lips. Which one? It's vacation, so I let loose. I tell her a little about Beck, even though you're not supposed to talk about your old girlfriend with the new one. So she was an Ivy League chick, she asks. Was she snobby? Sometimes, I say, but mostly she was sad. You know, most of the people who go to those schools, they're psycho because they spend their whole childhoods trying to get into those schools. They can't live in the moment. I will fuck her on this table right here, right now. You are so right, I say. Did you ever date anyone like that? She shakes her head. You can show me yours, but I don't want to show you mine. She's the only woman left who knows the value of mystery. She tosses her slushie into a trash bin and we lie back on the table, watching the branches above us sway. Talk, she says. Tell me. I start at the beginning. In the shop. Beck without her bra. Amy says that's attention-seeking. And Beck buying her Paula Fox. Amy says that was to impress me. And this is where Amy is so beautiful and unusual. She doesn't interrupt me to tell her own story or slip into a jealous rant. She listens to me, and she is a sponge. It's cathartic for me to describe Beck's viciousness, and this is why you need to get in a car and go sometimes. I don't think we could have had this conversation in New York. I feel so aware with Amy, and she just gets it. And when I tell her about Beck tweeting from Bemelman's bar, the way she had to look up solipsistic in the dictionary, when I tell her that Beck referred to Little Compton as LC, she kicks the air. She gets it, all of it. I am known. She turns her head. You guys came here together? Her voice is higher, suspicious. No, I say. And technically, I'm not lying. I followed Beck here. There's a difference. I tell her about the way Beck cheated on me with her shrink. How terrible, Amy says. How did you find out? I held her prisoner and broke into her apartment and found the evidence on a MacBook Air. I just had a feeling, I lie, because it's also sort of true. So I asked her and she told me, and then that was it. We broke up. She strokes my leg. I tell her to Google Nicholas Angevine, and she does, and she scans the headlines and she looks at me horrified. He killed her? Yep, I say, and it's impressive. I framed him for the murder so effectively that I don't even exist in the Wikipedia page about the crime. He murdered her and he buried her near his family's second home upstate. She shudders. Do you miss her? No, I say. I feel sorry for her, of course, but it wasn't good between us, you know? And when you came along, I mean, it sounds sick, but that was like, well, then I really didn't miss her anymore. She bumps her knee into mine. That's sweet. She promised me she won't cheat on me with the shrink. She is wary of physicians and psychiatrists, people who thrive on other people's pain. God, I love her brain, all pink and mushy and suspicious. I kiss her. I'll be right back, she says, and she leaves her purse with me and crosses the parking lot to the restroom. She walks for me, and she turns back and winks, the same way she does in the shop. When she disappears into the restroom, I take her phone out of her purse. I'm never afraid of what I'm going to find when I look through her phone. I just want to know everything. It's like that guy in that old Julia Roberts movie who loves to watch her try on hats and dance around to Brown Eyed Girl. Nothing in Beck's phone ever made me smile, but rummaging through Amy's always reaffirms the way I feel about her. The first item in her Google search history is Henderson Sucks. She's reading recaps of his talk show, Fuck Narcissism, the one we hate watch a couple of times a week, where he sits on the couch and the guests sit at the desk. The hook is that he's sitting on the couch because he's a narcissist who only wants to talk about himself, but every interview obviously devolves into talk about whatever shitty movies the guest host is promoting. She says Henderson's success is proof that our culture is edging toward a cannibalistic apocalypse. What are you doing? I startle and nearly drop Amy's phone. I look up guiltily as her shadow falls over me. She's standing, arms crossed, eyes narrowed. Fuck. I swallow. I am caught. Amy, I say, clenching her phone. I know what this looks like, but this isn't that. She holds out her hand. Give me my phone. Amy, I plead. I'm sorry. She looks away. I give her the phone, and I want her to sit with me, but she crosses her arms again. Her eyes are wet. And I was literally just thinking how happy I am with you. I'm sorry, I say again. Why are you snooping around? She demands. Why are you ruining this? It's not like that, I tell her, reaching out. No, she says, waving me off. I get it. You don't trust me. And why should you? I'm the one who showed up with the stolen fucking credit card the first day I met you. Of course you don't trust me. But I do trust you, I say, and how strange the truth sounds. I'm looking in your phone because I'm fucking crazy about you. When you go into the bathroom, I miss you. I get onto my knees and grovel. Amy, I swear, I've never been so crazy about anyone, and I know this is crazy, but I love you. Even when you're in the bathroom, I just want more. At first, there is nothing. She's blank. And then she sighs and scruffs my hair. Get up. We settled back on the bench as the family emerges from a minivan, loud, sandy. 5 minutes ago, we would have been cracking jokes about them. Now we are somber. I nod toward them. You and I didn't grow up like that, and we're a little messed up because of it, I say. It's hard for people like us to trust each other, but I do trust you. She watches the mother squirt lotion onto the kids. Okay, she says, that's fair. About the shitty childhoods and the trust. I hold her hand as we watch the father try to reason with his unreasonable 4-year-old son, telling him he can't have another slushie because he won't have any room for hot dogs at the barbecue. The kid shrieks. He doesn't want a hot dog. He wants a slushie. The mother comes around and squats and hugs the child and says, please tell mommy what you want. The child screams slushie, and the father says the mother is spoiling the child, and the mother says it's important to communicate with kids and respect their own desires. It's like watching TV, and when they disappear back into the minivan, the show is over. Amy puts her head on my shoulder. I like you. You're not pissed at me? No, she says. I'm the same way. Sometimes I can't believe how alike we are. I stiffen. You've looked in my phone? Candace, Benji, Peach, Beg, mug of urine. She laughs. No, she says. But if you would ever leave your phone, I totally would. I'm not very good at trusting people either. I nod. Look, I don't want to be that guy, but we can get better. She squeezes my hand. I might fuck up. Being together is the best feeling in the world. Better than sex. Better than a red convertible or that first I love you. Yeah, I ask. Yeah, she says. And mimicking is a sign of love. This was a good idea, this trip. We get more slushies for the road and get back into the vet. There's been an atomic meltdown and we're the only 2 people left on Earth, and this is why people shouldn't commit suicide. Because maybe, someday, you might get to sit in the shade with someone who is refreshingly different. I make her laugh so hard that she has slushy spilling out of the corners of her mouth. And then we drive away and find a quiet spot, and I eat her out, and when I finish, I have her spilling out of the corner of my mouth. Your vacation is not the best vacation ever. Mine is. I earned it. She caught me sneaking around on her phone, and she still spread her legs. When we get to the hotel, she gasps, "Wow!" And when we walk into the room and onto the terrace, I don't gasp. I knew we were close. But I didn't realize I'd be able to see it so clearly. The Salinger cottage, twinkling, lit by fireworks, full of people. People who may or may not have seen my mug. Amy nods toward the house. Do you know those people? One of them, I tell her. They're the Salingers. I tell Amy about Peach's dysfunctional friendship with Beck and her inevitable suicide. Amy wraps her arms around me. And if this were a cartoon, I could stretch my rubber arm all the way across the beach, into that house, up those rickety stairs, into that bedroom, reclaim my mug of urine, and then I would have it all. The next day we hit the beach. Chapter 4. The next day we hit the beach with the Ralph Lauren towels. We sit near the Salingers. I figure maybe I can ask to use their bathroom. We can ask to use the bathroom. Nobody's going to say no to Amy, and while she's making small talk, I can go upstairs. It's a reach, but it's all I've got. Whoa, she says, shielding her eyes with her hands. He looks pissed. I turn. A Salinger man whistles and storms toward us. My balls crawl back inside of me. Amy groans. Ugh, they're as bad as you said. Let me be calm. But he's not calm. He's spitting. This speech is private, he snarls. Families fascinate me. Peach is dead, but there is her nose, her frizzy hair. You need to be on the other side of the sand. You can't be on the other side of the sand, and Amy peels off her shirt like she's Phoebe Cates in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I'm so sorry, she says. Did you want to let us know about anything else? She smiles at him, and he's staring at her body, and she's a fucking genius. He skulks back to his ugly wife, and Amy laughs. Can we get in the water already? I need to warm up, I say, but really I need to do recon on the Salingers. There's so fucking many of them, romping on their trampolines on the water, on the sand, as if the sand and the waves in the cottage aren't enough. Children scamper, and older Salinger men in Madras shorts with short-sleeve shirts talk vineyard vines, golf courses in Ireland, reunions. The women bitch about nannies and salesgirls, and a waitress they all think is after their chubby husbands. You would never know that this family lost their daughter, their sister, their auntie. They're on vacation in every sense of the word, and their only purpose is to alert passersby that they can't use the trampoline or sit too close. I've never seen such a family of cunts, living for barricades. We've already been yelled at, and I'm not even getting in that house today. So fuck it. I grab Amy and throw her over my shoulder, and she screams, and the Salingers glare, jealous of us, young, poor, in love. I carry her toward the water, the same water where I disposed of Peach, the same shore which she washed up months later after her tragic so-called suicide. Amy wraps her legs around me, and envious Salinger men watch, wish, drink. We stay like this, glued in Peach's ocean grave, and by the time we get out of the water, most of the Salingers have retreated onto the house. It's colder now, and we put on sweaters. And Amy reaches into her bag and pulls out a children's book called Charlotte and Charles. This was my favorite, she says. Can I read it to you? Of course. She leans into me, and the story goes like this. 2 giants, a man and a woman, live on a desert island. The woman is lonely, but the man feels safe. Humans arrive, and while the woman is excited, the man is hesitant. The last time humans were there, everything went to shit. The humans tried to kill them. Charlotte wants to try again, and Charles complies, but sure enough, the humans are ringing bells, the sound of which will kill Charlotte and Charles. But Charlotte and Charles wear earplugs to protect themselves. There's an earthquake, and Charlotte and Charles help the humans, then swim away to a new island. The second to last page of the book is a picture of the giants on an island together at night. Several years have passed. They look at the stars, and Charlotte wishes that more people would come. Charles says that the people would do the same fucking thing and screw them over. Charlotte concedes that this is possible, but she also reminds him that he could be wrong. And in the corner of the page, there is a ship. People are coming. Hey, Bee, welcome in. Amy closes the book and smiles up at me. Well, that's one dark fucking book. She smacks my leg. You can't swear at Charlotte and Charles. She spins to face me. Tell me what you think. I liked it, I say. She nudges me. Come on. What did you think? This feels like a test, and it's supposed to be a vacation. I shrug. I want to let it sit a while. I don't like this culture of reading a book and spitting out an immediate reaction. She tilts her head like a school teacher with a slow kid. I see that, she says. I've read it 100 times, and I've had my whole life to think about it. She shivers. Are you cold? She shoves the book into her bag and we leave the beach. I fail to retrieve the mug and I fail to understand Charlotte and Charles, and walking on sand is just no fun. Ever. Back at the hotel, we shower together. I put my Charles in her Charlotte, and she helps me right back to the BuzzFeed guy. We bring Cajun scallops and buttery lobster rolls and cannolis to our room. We eat in the bed, and we fuck in the bed, and we laugh in the bed, and we wake up bloated, happy. I fuck Amy in the shower, and in the soaking tub, and on the balcony, her favorite, she tells me during what she calls blueberries in bed. And I fuck her on the sofa, and then I fuck her on the love seat. I memorize her face, her trembling lips. Oh, Joe, her legs quivering, clinging. She opens her mouth, my little seal. I pop a blueberry into that hole in her face, the one that takes my dick in a way that no mouth ever did before. She winks. Good shot. We live here now, in this room, in these sheets, like a fucking John Mayer song come to life. We joke that they will cordon off this room when we go because nobody will ever occupy it the way we did. I love her more now than I did 5 minutes ago, more than I did 5 hours ago. I break the rules and I tell her this because she is not like other girls. I know, she says. Isn't it weird the way most people only get more annoying? And you only get less annoying. I jab her with the pillow. I'm not annoying. She shrugs teasingly, and we bash each other with pillows, and she pins me down and drops blueberries into my mouth, and I plant my mouth on hers and we eat together, one mouth. I ask her about Charlotte and Charles, and she tells me to forget it, and I mark her body all over with my pulpy blue kisses. I'll have to throw away these sheets, and when she comes, she screams and she throws a pillow across the room. It goes out the window over the balcony. She giggles. So I guess that was what you call a one-pillow orgasm. For a brief moment, I see Beck, the way she humped a green pillow. I smack Amy's ass. By the end of the day, there won't be any pillows left in here, I say, ready to go again. But she puts her hand on my chest. Whoa, she says. Joe, we do have to go out. You don't have to do anything, I say. And it must have been so much easier in the dark ages before restaurants, when there was no fucking Little Compton coupon guide designed with the explicit purpose of interfering in our fuck fest. Hello, Natalia. Thank you for the follow. Here, she says, flipping through the coupon guide. Scuppers by the Bay. They have a band. Do they deliver? I try, and it's a waste of time. She's out of bed telling me that I'll be thanking her after I've had a good meal. And that's how you know you're in love. You put on slacks and feign excitement over oysters and live light rock, and you grab the keys and leave. Scuppers by the Bay is overstuffed with assholes. The lot is jammed and the valets look stoned. There's a 16,000-piece cover band tooling away in the back, murdering Tina Turner's What's Love Got to Do With It. And the clamor in the kitchen is matched by a screaming spoiled baby at a nearby table with spoiled parents fussing over skewered scallops. We don't have a reservation and the coupon is not valid tonight, and we are told to wait at the bar for 1 hour, maybe 2. I suggest we go, but Amy nods toward a couple at the bar. They're overdressed. He's swishing his wine in his glass and she's drinking something blue. I don't want to talk to them, but when Amy whispers to follow her lead, I start to get hard. She dabs gloss on her lips. Okay, she says. We're gonna pretend to be other people, and we're gonna glom onto them. Seriously? Her eyes flash. You be Kev and I'll be Lulu. We really are the same. I like fake names, but I'm used to it being a means of survival or escape. Like when Officer Nico believed that I was Spencer Hewitt because of my Figawi hat. I don't know, Amy, I say, fucking with her. Lulu sounds pretty fucking made up. She claps, excited, and we decide to be Kev and Mindy from Queens. I'm a chef, and you're an aspiring actor. An actor? It stings. Why not a director? Or doctor? She cups my chin in her hand. Well, you're too hot to do anything else, honey. I would like to take her in the handicap bathroom and fuck her brains out, but she has already started in on the nice couple. When a woman wants to socialize, no penis in the world can replace meaningless conversation about iPhone autocorrects, duct, ha ha ha, and rental car snafus. So we pair off with Pearl and Noah Epstein. They're also from New York. That's so crazy! And they're both lawyers, and they're actually likable. Funny. When we shake hands, Noah says, "Hi, that's Pearl. I'm Noah. And we're what Grammy Hall would call real Jews." We talk about Woody Allen, and then we also meet Harry and Liam Benedictus. Harry is short for Harriet, yawn. She's a financial planner, and he's a broker. They have 2 under 3, and they're uptight, but they're also full of compliments. Liam freaking loves movies and wants to hear about my career. We talk small. How funny is it when your mom texts? And I make up shit about my kooky mom sending me crockpot recipes. Amy talks about how her mom thinks LOL means lots of love, and our new friends think we're so freaking funny. The conversation drifts to terrible places at times, the ups and downs of the NASDAQ, but we survive. In this bar, lying to these strangers, there has never been more honesty between us. We're closer with every lie, undercover together, fusing. Amy talks about her imaginary father, the one who sends her articles about Rachel Ray. She's vulnerable, and we needed this, pretending to be people with parents. Parents who text and call and love and ask for help with detachments. The hostess says we can sit now if we're all willing to squeeze into a booth, and I want to squeeze my dick into Amy, and she's clapping. She loves booths. All women love booths. On the way over, Amy whispers, "Wasn't I right?" "Yes," I say. "This is a fucking blast." I get to sit beside Amy, our legs pressed together. She wraps her knuckles on the table and starts a game. Okay, she says. And every man in this restaurant would trade his woman for Amy. Favorite movie sex scene? I go first. The Town. I've heard this all before. How much Amy likes Ben Affleck and Blake Lively together. I slide a hand underneath her skirt and she doesn't object, and I move that hand underneath her panties onto her ass cheek. Noah worships that British newsie from HBO, how surprising, and sends the undercooked scallops back to the kitchen, and Pearl knocks over her chablis and says it's because she has spilkas. Harry crafts jewelry and sells it on Etsy. The waiter returns with scallops, and I take the first spot, and I nod. They're ducking perfect. Everybody in our party cackles at my stupid, easy joke, and we could be friends in real life. It would be a long Swiffer commercial with dogs and potlucks in Park Slope. I start to wish they didn't think of me as an aspiring actor named Kevin. But then, if they knew that we were both high school graduates who never went to college, if they knew we worked in retail, these people wouldn't be friends with us anyway. I squeeze Amy's thigh. That's what real, my take-home. Amy says I'm for sure going to make it as an actor, and Pearl says I have one of those faces. Sorry, my doggy is being a little brat. One moment. Move, Coco. Move, honey. Move. Her husband laughs and Amy's eyes glisten, and she got a little too much sun today. I wish I could hit pause and stay here in this moment with the light fading. This is what all the love songs are about, the moment when you find your own way forward with someone and there's no turning back. Amy winks at me and gets out of the booth to request a song, Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. And the band doesn't know it, and she's pouting while our new fake friends are discussing the menu. I kiss her cheek. You're sweet. What's that for? I stroke her thigh and move my hand up to where the jungle used to be. I get it. She's puzzled. Huh? Paradise City, I say. Guns N' Roses. Like the first time when you welcomed me to the jungle? Her face is blank. Pearl wants to know if we prefer calamari or clams casino, and Amy says both, and she doesn't remember our Guns N' Roses connection. She's not as smart as I am, but maybe it's better that we're a little different. When it's time to deal with the check, Amy pulls the valet ticket out of my pocket. She excuses herself to go to the bathroom, and then I pretend to get a phone call and step outside. We latch onto each other, and the valet delivers the vet, and we're gone, and it's like we've never even been there. I do feel kind of bad, I say. I liked Pearl and Noah, and Harry, and Liam. Oh, please, she sighs. When you split a check like that, it's almost easier if half the people disappear, you know? When we get back into the room, she brings her blueberries into the bed, and she fillets me with her superfruit mouth, and I smush blueberries on our tits. I want to talk about our lives and our parents and Charlotte and Charles, but she says we should sleep because of the drive back tomorrow. I know she's right, but at the same time, I can't stand the idea of being asleep and missing 1 second of our life together. While Amy snores, I walk out on the deck and see the lights on upstairs at the Salinger house. Fuck that mug. It doesn't scare me anymore. I have a partner now, and this time, I'm leaving it behind on purpose. Okay, give me 1 moment. Let me just deal with my dog. She's being a little nutcase. Okay, hopefully Coco will chill out for a bit. Hey, Ben. Chapter 5. The ride home is always different from the ride out. We're both a little burned out, a little hungover. We don't want to stop at Dell's for slushies, and we agree that lemon ice is precisely the sort of thing that sounds great when you start. I swear, it wouldn't be a stream if OBS didn't crash at least once. Apologies. We don't want to stop at Dell's for slushies, and we agree that lemon ice is precisely the sort of thing that sounds great when you start the vacation, but not what you want on the way home. We hit traffic. We laugh about our fake friends, and we forgot to find out the brand of the sheets at the hotel. She holds my hand randomly, as if to say, I can't believe you're real. This is love. This is Sunday. And we get back into the city. She strokes my neck. Will you hate me if I just kind of want my own bed? I could never hate you, I respond. We make it to our street, and I signal with my blinker, and she laughs, and that will be a running joke for us. That time we rented that red Corvette and got pulled over for not using a fucking blinker. I can't wait to be old with her. I put the car in park. She kisses me. Thank you, she says. I hope you know how wonderful you are. I hold on to her and breathe her in. Someone behind us honks. I wave the asshole around and Amy climbs out. At the rental joint, the guy asks me if I had any trouble with the car. It is with great pleasure that I tell him we had absolutely no trouble at all. He looks at me like I'm crazy, and it's okay, because I am. I am crazy in love. The next morning, I can't get to the shop fast enough. I can't wait to see Amy. I can't wait to tell her that I found Pearl and Noah and Harry and Liam online. I can't wait to find out if she watched Fuck Narcissism last night, and if so, what she thought of Kevin Hart. I wonder what panties she's wearing today, and I'm excited to see if the shaving business continues. I quicken my stride and I reach the shop, but the music in my head ends abruptly. The door is slightly ajar. If Amy came in early, she would have closed the door, and Mr. Mooney hasn't been to the store in years. I yank the door open and step inside. I see dust particles in the air, and my nose adjusts to the shop. The way a place smells different when you turn after a few days. My senses are on fire, and we've been robbed. And I don't want this kind of distraction after such a good weekend. The violets I bought Amy are on the floor, scattered, dry, the vase in pieces. There are papers everywhere, books tipped over, my laptop is gone. I tiptoe around the counter and quietly remove the machete from my hiding spot below the main entrance. I haven't held it in a while, and it's heavier than I remember. I'm not calling the cops. They're not all jinx, and I've learned my lesson. I creep toward the back of the shop, checking the stacks to my left, to my right. I move past fiction and biography, and at the back of the shop, the basement door is ajar too. The silence of the shop bears down on my brain. They are long gone, I think. But if they are still here, I'm slicing their throats. I clench the machete as I descend the stairs slowly, soundlessly. When I reach the bottom step, I gasp and drop it. I don't need it anymore. There is nobody here. But someone was here, all right. Someone who eats superfruits. There's a bowl on the floor next to that gaping hole where the yellow wall of Portnoy's complaints used to be. Amy. She stole every last copy. Didn't even leave one for me. She took the Yates first edition too, the one she blew me for, the one that started it all. There's a blueberry-stained copy of Charlotte and Charles on the floor, right next to my computer and the pink keys, the ones I made for her. I grab my phone and call her, and of course, this number is now dead, out of service, gone, just like all the others. I drop to my knees and scream. She left me. She stole from me. I bought that bullshit about her needing her own bed, and she must have come here right after I dropped her off. I throw her super fruits at the wall. Super cunt. I pick up Charlotte and Charles. I understand the meaning of that fucking book now. Don't trust women. Ever. I open it and there's a message scribbled inside. Sorry, Joe. I tried. But we really are the same. We both hold back. We both lose control. We both have secrets. Be good to you. Love, Amy. I haven't made a comprehensive list of everything she took, but so far I estimate $23,000 in rare books. She knew what she was doing the day she walked in here, and I fell for it. I should be dragged into a field and shot for being so fucking stupid, dick blind, cocksucked. We're the same, she said. Fuck me. Fuck her. She pulled the wool over my eyes with her latex gloves and her dick-sucking eyes. This was never love. Not on the beach in Little Compton. Not in this cage. Not in my bed. The bitch came here to trick me, to rob me, and I made her fucking keys. I grab the laptop and get the fuck out of this fucking cage and I lock it. A little late, asshole. And I trudge up the stairs and I lock the basement door. What a fucking asshole I am. I should lock myself in the basement. And that's when I see another mess. Amy ransacked my least favorite section of the shop. Drama. She stole acting manuals. An actor prepares 10 ways to make it in Hollywood. How to make them call you back. Monologues for Women, Volume 4. Are you fucking kidding me? You lying, thieving, hairy-legged beast? My head spins. Amy was not an untrained sociologist wearing college paraphernalia to experiment on human behavior. She was not lying to Noah and Pearl and Harry and Liam. She was acting. Why else would she steal those manuals? I sit down at the counter and wake up the laptop. She claims to be so off the grid and above this computer shit, but she managed to erase the recent search history. My cheeks sting at the idea of her on that floor, trying to block me, trying to clear the search she conducted on my computer. Well, she should have learned a little bit more about how these machines work, what they can do for me. Chrome isn't that simple. She only cleared the last hour of her time on my computer, not the whole fucking history. I know my recent searches, rare books and motels in Little Compton, and it's not exactly difficult to shine the light on her key fucking words. UCB, cheapest headshots, free headshots, UCB classes, cheap, Ben Affleck, top dollar used books, selling rare books, Philip Roth price, auditions, casting calls, blonde girl next door audition, sublet Hollywood. She also didn't clear her fucking downloads, and I bring up her application to an Improv 101 Improv Basics class at Upright Citizens Brigade, and a script for some short fucking film with a cover page that references a Craigslist ad. So the bitch has run away to try to make it in Hollywood. Making it in Hollywood is the most disgusting phrase in the English language. It's more disturbing than prolific serial killer and rare terminal illness. I can't wait to catch her and tell her what a deluded loser she is. I print her search history, and there is nothing more terrifying than realizing that the one who knows you best loves you least, pities you even. She knew I was fucked up and alone. She knew I wanted a blowjob and a girlfriend, and she knew I wanted these things so badly that I would let her watch Cocktail 50 times a fucking week in my bed, that I would give her a fucking key. I did that, and I can't undo it, but I can find her. I can eliminate her, and I will. She doesn't get to walk around thinking she got away with this. Fuck no. She doesn't get to think that I am a sucker who you can fuck over and dump with Charlotte and Charles. I lapped her nipples with my tongue and I ate her hairy bush, and she used me. She is evil. She is dangerous. She is incapable of love. She is a sociopath, worse than a borderline. That's why she uses fucking burner phones. She's a criminal. She thinks she's so smart, but if you erase an hour, it doesn't mean shit. Not unless you erase the weeks leading up to that hour. She thinks life is better off the grid? Yeah, she'll die thinking that. Cunt. I call JetBlue. I buy a ticket. Sorry, Amy. You lose. Chapter 6. If there's one thing I learned from that horny charlatan Dr. Nicky Angevine and his patient/mistress Beck, it's that you can't control what other people do. You can only control your thoughts. If there's a mouse in your house, you have to make it your business to remove that pest. Set the traps, check the traps. Amy is my mouse, but this is my house and I'm deep into the extermination process already. I called the UCB and claimed to be a guy named Adam checking on my registration. This is how I was able to confirm that there is a girl named Adam. Amy, reserved for an improv class. I gave notice on my lease. Fuck that shithole. And it's time I got the hell out of here. Out of my apartment where I bring the wrong women into my bed, cold city girls. Their hearts are hard and pale. And I can't become one of those New Yorkers who lets the city win. I won't sit behind the counter of that fucking shop the next time some chick walks in and bats her eyelashes at me. I'm fucking done. It's June, and the city is ripe with meaningless fecal heat. It will be a different kind of hot in LA. The kind that made the Beach Boys all tan and giddy. A heat that doesn't harass you in the shade. I get on the train and begin my last humid smelly ride to Mr. Mooney's. I thought about writing him a letter or calling him, but it's been too many years. I owe him a goodbye. My trip ends, finally, and I leave the train where a mariachi band sets up and hoochies take selfies. Goodbye, subway people. A guy in a suit emerges from a deli across the street with fresh roses, running, trying, believing. Idiot. I walk into the butcher and pick up Mr. Mooney's favorite sausages. I hope he doesn't cry. I hope he doesn't try to lock me in his basement. I turn the corner and knock on his door. He doesn't smile. Don't tell me we got robbed again. No such luck, Mr. Mooney. I laugh. He was almost happy when I called and told him about the robbery. He said that insurance money is the most beautiful kind of money there is in this world. Well, what's wrong then? He jabs. Nothing, I insist. I hold up the sausages. You hungry? He pushes open the screen door and waves me in. His house smells like kitty litter and old ladies, and he doesn't have a cat or a wife. He has 2 eggs on the stove and the radio on. He puts my sausages in the old fridge. You want some coffee milk? He asks. Nope. Sure. He shakes the powdered concoction and sets a small chipped glass down on the table in front of me. He talks about a pillow he bought off an infomercial, how the dame on the phone said he couldn't return it because 30 days had passed. He talks about the eggs at his local market. They used to be cheaper, but now they're ridiculously priced because they're from some farm nearby. Honestly, guys, egg prices in New York City, sorry, this is like reader's note, ridiculous. $11. And that's not for anything fancy. In which case, this should be cheaper, he rails. He waves a saggy arm. I don't want to be like this someday. Alone, frying eggs, eating local food in a stingy rage. But at the same time, I can't imagine ever loving anyone ever again. Mr. Mooney finishes frying the eggs and sits down with me at the table. The eggs are overcooked, glistening. I think he used a pound of butter, and I don't think he's cleaned the skillet since 1978. So to what do I owe this honor? He asks. I drink my coffee milk. By some miracle, I keep it down. Well, I say, I've decided I need a change. I'm moving to Los Angeles. He burps. It's wet. Flappy shards of eggs fly out of his mouth. What's her name? Whose name? The girl, he says. Nobody moves anywhere unless it's about a girl. I hesitate, then tell him about Amy, her desire to be an actress, the way she kept it from me. I don't tell him that she was the thief. I knew there was a girl. He dips his finger into the ketchup on his plate and licks it off. You might be wiser to let her go. I shake my head. This is something I have to do. Mr. Mooney sighs. Tip the world over on its side and everything loose will land in Los Angeles. Frank Lloyd Wright said that. He was right. Mr. Mooney rises from his seat and tosses his rank sponge in the sink. Los Angeles is the seat of evil, Joseph. It's the womb of idiocy. It's where everything bad comes from. The peak of the volcano of this nation's stupidity. There's no place for an intelligent man. That's why there's nothing to watch on the damn television set. You're better off here. He'll never say it, but he's going to miss me. I'll give you my email address so we can keep in touch. He takes my plate and stacks it on his. I know if I offer to do the dishes, he'll be pissed. Email is baseless. He dismisses me. Just promise me you won't waste your life on a damn computer. I say I'll see him again soon, and a cockroach scampers by and he stomps on it with his boot. You don't know that, he says. There's no way you could know that. He tells me to lock the door on my way out. Goddamn Girl Scouts are pushier than ever. My apartment is empty. Everything I'm taking with me is in my dad's giant duffel bag, the one I've never used because I've never gone so far away. Never had an occasion to pack up everything I want. My books, my clothes, my pillow, my computer. There's a knock at my door, and I don't check the peephole, figuring it's the landlord to complain about the damage. But no, it's Mr. Mooney in sunglasses. I can't see his eyes. Word of advice, he begins. Get your dick sucked. Okay. Get your dick sucked, he repeats. Don't sleep with actresses. Don't waste your time with In-N-Out burgers. Don't watch too many movies. Don't eat too many vegetables. Don't refer to vegetables as veggies. Don't go in the pool, it's cold and dirty. Don't go in the ocean, it's cold and dirty. Don't have a child. Most born there become whores. I got it. He stares at my unplugged refrigerator. Is the shop locked up? Yes, I declare. Bolted, shut down. Good, he says, and he smiles. Maybe I'll run away too. Do you want to come in, have a seat? But there's nowhere to sit. He reaches into his breast pocket. He pulls out a thick envelope and hands it to me. I protest. I can't take this. Yes, you can, he says. You'll need it. He ambles down the stairs and I realize I might never see him again. I gather my things and slip the key under the door. A fat kid on the first floor asks where I'm going. California, I say. Why? He asks. To make the world a better place, I answer. I give the kid some books, none of them rare, all of them important. The kid is grateful, and I'm noble, and it's true. I'm gonna make the world a better place. That kid is already leafing through Lord of the Flies. Next up, Amy, hog-tied, sinking to the bottom of a swimming pool. California. Chapter 7. I don't read during the flight to LAX. I don't watch a movie. I fuck around on Facebook. I finally joined for real as Joe Goldberg, as me. But it's not what you think it is. I have to fuck around on Facebook. I'm a hunter going on a wild safari and I need guides on my trek through the small segment of the foothills of Hollywood, known as Franklin Village. I need camouflage. I need friends. And it's not the worst thing in the world to need people. I'm inspired by the Fast and Furious movies where the heroes Toretto and O'Connor can't hunt the bad guys without first assembling a team. I need help finding Amy, the same way they need help finding a corrupt Brazilian drug lord. And I can say this for the aspirings in the Upright Citizens Brigade. They're an open bunch. They accept Joe Goldberg, writer, as a friend, and these people talk a lot about the dry cleaner and Tinder and their shoes and their auditions. And yes, they talk about someone they refer to as Amy offline. The best resource so far is a guy named Calvin, who works at a used bookstore right next to the UCB. He posted a job listing for someone to pick up shifts, and I wrote to him. I think I have the job. None of the other dudes he knows have experience with the register. I ask him about rare books, if he ever sees any original editions of Portnoy's Complaint. Maybe Amy already started moving her inventory. He writes back, LOL, dude, we get like one valuable book a year. Mostly people who live up Beechwood dump their moldy shit when they move to their parents or die or whatever. Or like people on the block are broke and they try to sell stuff. But it's super easy. Mostly it's like you get a couple bucks. It's super chill, dude. In addition to Facebook and Twitter, Calvin has a website where he reveals everything you could ever want to know about him. He is an aspiring writer, director, actor, producer, sound designer, comic, improv player. Can you imagine yearning for attention so badly that your identity required all those hyphens? He worships Henderson and Mark Maron and suspenders and beards and pictures of beards and Tinder and bacon and Breaking Bad and things from the 80s. In Brooklyn, this guy would be working at a branding firm. He would be playing poor and checking his 401k late at night. But Calvin has a PayPal account where fans can help him pay rent. I could never respect Calvin, but he's easy and grateful that I'm willing to fill in when he needs to audition. I order a Sprite Zero and vodka. My second most useful Facebook friend is an older, aspiring stand-up comic named Harvey Swallows. I applied for an apartment near UCB in a building called Hollywood Lawns. Harvey's the manager, and when I emailed him about the apartment, he responded with a Facebook friend request and invitation to be his fan. Angelinos. Harvey is the West Coast equivalent of my old coworker, Ethan. Harvey is another open book with his website. He changed his name to Harvey Swallows and moved to LA to be a comic at the ripe young age of 57. His catchphrase is, "Am I right or am I right?" He's big into hashtag Throwback Thursday, and he shared so many photos of his old life in Nebraska when he was married and selling insurance and growing sick with aspirations. Note to self, do not get sick with aspirations. They eat your brain and trick your heart, and you wind up on a stage in a basement saying unfunny things and waiting for someone to laugh. Nobody is laughing at or paying Harvey to say funny things, so he manages 45 units at Hollywood Lawns. The place is a nice change of pace for me. I get off Facebook and look at pictures of my new home. There's a pool. I could hold Amy under the water. And there's a hot tub. I could boil a bitch. And there's a game room. I can choke her with a pool stick. And it's within walking distance of everything I could ever want, including, of course, Amy. She may not be on Facebook, but you can't pursue an acting career in LA without the internet. A girl like Amy, a brand new sociopath with no agent, no connections, she would start looking for work on Craigslist. Anyone can post a casting call on the site and actors submit their pictures and resumes constantly, according to Calvin. So I write a casting call specifically designed to appeal to Amy's overweening ego. Subject: are you taller and more beautiful than the girl next door? Body: indie feature seeks lead actress, stunning and blonde. 5'7" to 5'11", age 25 to 30. Reply back with photos/resume. I am astounded by the speed of it all. Within a few minutes, I have dozens of girls sending me pictures. My hands shake every time I open an email from a girl. Some are naked. Some are ugly. Some are even gorgeous, but none of them are the super cunt. I order another vodka and Sprite Zero, and the two girls across the aisle talk about the bar method. They love it. And carbs. They hate them. And directors. They want to know them. I wonder if Amy would become that kind of person in LA if I don't kill her first. Part of me wants to tell her about the assholes on the plane, but more of me wants to scream at her to hold her accountable for everything. She did. But I can't. Not yet. I open a Word document and write to myself. Dear Super Cunt, you are a vile, evil thing, and I wish you never walked into my life with your gloves and your bullshit. Cocktail is crappy because the protagonist is ultimately rewarded for being a shallow, gold-digging prick. You think that you're headed for something good? You're not. You're callow. Even when you're shaved, your legs were stubbly. You were wrong to steal from those people in Little Compton. They're better than you. Blueberries are disgusting, and you will die no matter what. You need a haircut. Your legs are too long. Your skin is a waste of space because there's no heart inside of you. You're too much of a pussy and a phony to be on Facebook. You suck a good dick, but you're not special. You're dead. The older woman next to me knocks on my tray table. She points at my screen. Are you a writer? I save my document. I close it. Yes, it's a monologue in this thing I'm writing. She points at the headshots. And directing? You're casting, right? I see pictures. Yep. Boundaries. Where do they go? Here's hoping. She nods. You know, she says, if you're casting something, my niece lives in North Hollywood and she's very talented. You can see her at GretchenWoods.com. So that's how it is here. I tell her that I'm making an adult movie and she gasps and whips her heads down toward the window. And maybe now she won't go around telling random guys how to find her niece online. But she's given me an idea. Being a writer is a great cover during my expedition. I'll say that I'm working on something called Kev and Mindy Forever, and it will be about me and Amy in our last weekend in Little Compton. It will begin with Amy telling me that she can't sleep in her own bed, and I know how it ends. Me killing Amy. I order another vodka and Sprite Zero and go back on Facebook. One of Calvin's friends, Winston Barrell, has requested my online friendship. He doesn't even know me. I accept friendship with Winston. I immediately receive an invitation to a comedy show along with 845 other people. This is good. When I pull Amy's extra long body into an infinity pool and make it look like an accident, dare to dream, I will be okay because I will have become a Facebook guy, a normal dude. We live in an era where people who don't have 4,355 friends are considered nefarious, as if socially entrenched citizens aren't also capable of murder. I need friends so that when Amy disappears, my friends can roll their eyes at the idea of handsome, gregarious Joe killing someone. I can't be that guy who keeps to himself. That's too in line with the dated but pervasive stereotype of a killer, reinforced by biased TV news shows no matter how many happy-go-lucky husbands go and murder their wives. We all want to fear single people. It's endemic. It's American. I click through my new Angelino friends on Facebook. I love them. They're like kids, fucking hope. I envy them. They don't sacrifice their bodies for bookstores and they don't waste their lives underground, riding subways and exposing themselves to chemicals and old shit. People move to LA to make it. They dream harder than people in New York and believe that ferociously socializing is critical. That life is all about who you know. And honestly, I don't hate Facebook as much as I thought I would. Suck it, Amy. Sorry, Beck. Once you're a member, there's a network in which you are the center. It's empowering. Humans are entertaining, fun to look at. So are cats. People are so lonely they spend their birthdays on the internet, thanking people for wishing them a happy birthday. People who only know it's their birthday because Facebook told them. I like Fast and Furious to establish myself as a fun guy. And then I write to Amy. Dear cunt, Facebook is only people trying to help each other from being lonely. Fuck you. Love, Joe. The pilot says we're almost here, and I lean forward and see Los Angeles through the tiny window. The city is like a grid. And like Amy's bush that first time I saw it, the thing fucking sprawls. I can't help but smile. Amy thinks she's off the grid, but she has extremely traceable rare books and aspirations that require online socialization. I'll find her. I wish I could break open the window right now and parachute into Franklin Village, where I know she is. But then she might see me coming, and that would be like whispering to the deer, "Psst, I'm here," right before shooting it. So crazy. Chapter 8. The first song I hear in LAX is that ditzy fucking Tom Tom Club song about getting out of jail, and it sobers me up hard. A UCLA brat bashes into me with her oversized suitcase. People are pushy and tourists are slamming into me, all of them on an exodus to get pictures of Sean Penn, who has a baggage claim. In New York, people fight to make a train to get home or to make it to the squished aisles of Trader Joe's. In LA, people fight to smell an actor, an old man. I received 2 electronic communications since I landed. One is from Harvey. Wow, you have perfect credit. Most people who move here have horrible credit. It is my destiny to know people who abuse punctuation. The other one is from Calvin. We have a Blu-ray, so bring any movies you want to watch during shift. You aren't supposed to watch movies in a bookstore, and I get into a cab and the driver taps the address of Hollywood Lawns into his GPS, and I wonder if Amy took a cab or a shuttle. I wonder when the wondering will stop. I hate this part of the split, when that girl just lives in your head. I need to get laid. And we take La Cienega, and the city gets glitzier as you go north, and I see women in nighttime dresses walking around in the day like this is okay. I see homeless people like from Down and Out in Beverly Hills, and I see the Capitol Records building, and my heart quickens when we reach Franklin Avenue. Amy, Amy, Amy. And when I emerge from the cab, I step into dog shit. Fuck, I seethe. My head pounds. The sun, the excessive vodka. The driver laughs. People in LA, man, they like their doggies. Hollywood Lawns looks like the building in Karate Kid, and the dogs trapped in the small, hot apartments bark as I walk up the stairs. The for rent sign beams, month to month. I wonder if Amy lives here, in this very building. You never know. She's just the kind of lying transient who would gravitate toward this. Her sublet in New York was week to week. I should have known then, but your dick makes you blind. Harvey looks older in person, waxen, arched eyebrows. It's hard to look at him, and I let him talk to me about his act, and I agree to get drinks with him. He tells me my apartment is on the first floor, right by his office, and I brainstorm future excuses to avoid time with him. He warns me about ridiculous shit. One thing you gotta know about the hood, newbie, he says. This isn't New York. You can't be jaywalking. They will ticket you, and those tickets will add up. I knew LA was an anti-walking city, but that's fucking ridiculous, I say. Harvey smiles. You sound like me when I see Joe Rogan on TV. Downright ridiculous. Am I right or am I right? Conversations about Joe Rogan are not part of my life, so I don't encourage him the way you don't laugh at a child who swears. Hey, I say. I saw the sign outside. Do you get a lot of people moving in all the time? World's full of dreamers, he says. Do you have friends looking? Yeah, I say, and this is where I have to tread lightly. I don't want to say that I'm looking for Amy Adam, because then, when she disappears, I will be a suspect. I'm careful. I know this girl looking, I say, but she wants a share. Fact, Amy has never had her own place. She's a leech. Harvey nods. If I had a nickel for every hot babe who moves in here to sleep on the couch and pay half the rent. He shakes his head. I'd be able to paper the walls with nickels. Am I right or am I right? Harvey introduces me to another guy in the building, Des, entitled Thug Light. He lives on the first floor too, and he looks like an extra in an Eminem video circa 2000. Des has a dog, Little D, and some advice for me. He looks at me hard. Do not fuck Delilah. I nod. Word. I need someone like this on my team, someone fluent in California 90s moron douchebag language who no doubt has access to Xanax and various narcotics. Harvey digs up the keys to my new home and tells me that Delilah is just sweet and friendly, and I know this means desperate and slutty, and he says a lot of the guys in the building are crass. It's kind of like I'm the talk show host and everybody comes into my office to work out their bits, he says. Why must everyone want to be Henderson? So you come by anytime, work stuff out. It's like a Seth MacFarlane vibe in here, you know, bro Seth? Sounds great, I lie. Am I right or am I right, he asks. And if he has a contract with himself to spew out his own catchphrase at least twice an hour. My apartment smells like rotten oranges and chicken, and it's full of pink furniture, girl furniture. The former tenant, Brit, moved out suddenly against her will. Her parents showed up here all upset, Harvey says, turning on a pink bubble-shaped lamp and illuminating a Kandinsky poster. She spent half the money they gave her on a nose job and the rest on nose candy, and then she wound up in a hospital because her nose bled. He shakes his head and pats the hot pink futon. I know there's a joke in there. Funny things come in threes. I'm gonna find it, I swear. Anywho, the good news is you scored, Broseph. The futon, the chicken in the freezer, the TV, it's all yours. Her parents wanted us to dump it. At least I don't have to go to IKEA. Great. Harvey picks up the trash can. I know one thing you don't want is old chicken. BRB, Broseph. It's the first almost funny thing he said. I pull a Rachel Ray knife out of the new knife block on the counter. These are useful. Sharp, though I wish the handles weren't orange. I flop onto the futon and the cover is stained. Sriracha and semen. That taped up Kandinsky makes me miss New York. I miss sex. There's a knock at the door and then a girl barges in. She's like one of the girls I saw on the street. Full makeup and a bandaged spandex dress that's one size too small. She is hot, but not as hot as she thinks. I want her on my team. Possibly on my dick. Relax, she says. I'm Delilah, I'm just here for the blender. I almost tell her that her nickname is Don't Fuck Delilah, but she's talking too much for me to get a word in edgewise. She is late to work, gossip reporting, and she lives directly upstairs. Apologies for noises you hear in the future, the walls are paper thin. And that fucking co-core promised her a blender. She's opening the closets, slamming them. Delilah is full of rage. Maybe she knows there is a building ordinance against her vagina. She points at the Kandinsky. Technically, that's mine too, she says. But I think you'll appreciate it. You look like you might even know who that is. Andrew Wyeth, I say. She nods. Nice, she says. Brit had no idea who that was. Did Shut Up Harvey tell you about her? Everyone has a nickname. A little, I say. Sounds like a sad story. Delilah tells me that Brit came here to act and wound up hooking. She would go to Vegas with guys and come back messed up, she says. And she kept trying to get me to go with her, talking about how amazing these guys are and how you don't have to pay for anything, and you stay at the Cosmo and have the time of your life. Exactly, she says. So I pack a bag to go with her. I mean, I know I'm not actually going, but I wanted to see them all at the airport in case there was anyone famous in there, anyone I could write about. And at the airport in one breath, she's like, oh, by the way, you have to fuck at least 2 of them, but you get to pick which 2, and it's not bad, I swear. So which 2 did you pick? I ask. Ha! She deadpans. No, I told her I was going to call the cops on her parents if she got on the plane. And did you make those calls? Hell no, she says. She flew back the next day and I picked her up and took her to Baskin Robbins and let her cry. I go to the kitchen and find the blender in the cabinet above the fridge. She looks me up and down. So do you have a name? Joe Goldberg, I say. Do you? I told you, she says. I know, I say. But what's your real name? Ugh, she says. Melanie Crane, but not anymore. Melanie Crane is the girl who fucked up her master's in journalism by falling in love with the married guy at the New York Times. She shudders. That feels like a century ago. That's what I love about LA. It's all new. I'm an undercover reporter and a ghostwriter now. It's possible here to literally leave your past behind. They all think this, these girls, Amy, that they can leave your past behind. Don't they know it's not that simple? It's not the past if it's not finished. You should give me your number, Delilah says as she cleans the blender. I get so many invites to parties. You can be a +1 sometime, get off the block. She points at me. Warning, you have to get off the block. People live here and they go Birds and LaPoo over and over again, and there's so much more to the city. She sighs. I mean, it's important to get out of here. She explains that Birds is a bright, friendly dive bar, and LaPoo is a dark, hip French bar, and that everyone in the village skews one way or the other. I'm reminded of the Office episode where BJ Novak says he does not want an identity at work, and then he burns a pizza bagel and he has one. Fire guy. I am not a Birds guy or a LaPoo guy, but I type my number into Delilah's phone. I may need her. Delilah laughs. I'm being a bit of a hypocrite, she says, and I wonder if people in LA think out loud about themselves the way New Yorkers do quietly in our heads. I mean, I go to Birds almost every night, and I even have a tattoo inspired by the song they play there. But the thing is, I go late night, after I've been other places, you know? She bends forward and rolls up her dress and encourages me to come closer so I can see her leg. Close shave, self-tanner. And there are words engraved on her inner thigh, Journey lyrics, as if they need to be on her thigh after they've been used in The Sopranos and Glee and every bar in America. I know, it's lame, she says, and she pats my head, ordering me to stand. But you can't live here unless you believe. Delilah is almost special. And it's a hard thing for a girl to be. Not beautiful enough to be beautiful. Not smart enough to be smart. Amy has it easy. She's taller, hotter, smarter. There's something so unsure about Delilah, and she would never be friends with someone like Amy, who gets to cross her legs and eat blueberries with her greasy hair. Delilah is a girl who tries. Amy is a girl who takes. At the end of the day, trying is better. I know that now. There's a quiet moment where Delilah and I could run away together, and our dynamic would be set. I would inspire her to let go of the aspirations that are holding her down, marking her body. She would get me off Amy. But I want revenge, and Delilah wants her blender. She waves, she goes. The end. I download Journey. I picture Delilah's thigh pressed against my face, and I jerk off on my pink futon. Afterward, I shower and put on jeans. I refuse to wear shorts. And a t-shirt. I throw away Brit's food, diseases, cocaine residue. And I stop by Harvey's office. He's taking a selfie and the trash can he didn't bring back is sitting there. This is so different from New York. I could go months without seeing a neighbor in my old building. But Harvey's office is a glass box. Everyone here wants so badly to be watched, noticed. And the upside is that the desire to be watched is a blindfold. Harvey doesn't even notice me as I walk by the door and begin my hunt for Amy. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. I think that's not bad. You know, I figured I would, pick up from the cliffhanger, which ended up being just a single chapter. So, yeah. We made some good progress, I think. I'll try to continue sooner than later. I know that it's not very fair for me to take huge breaks in between, so I will do my best to keep this one mostly regular. If you ever want to hear me read other books, or in general aloud to you personally, I do have an audiobook service on my epal, among other things, so feel free to check it out. But otherwise, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your Tuesday and a lovely rest of your week. I hope I'll see you again sooner than later. And bye for now.
This is where Rule 34 applies. Rule 34 is there is porn of it, no exceptions. This applies to kink as well. You would not believe the type of kinks that are out there. You would not believe the type of fetishes that people have. Anything can be a fetish.